welcome everybody to our WAN-IFRA webinar series. We're delighted that you could join us for our November webinar on tips on editorial system selection, increasing functionality and efficiency. My name is Nicole Frankenhauser and I'm the Advisory Coordinator for Global Advisory, WAN-IFRA's consulting division. And today I'm joined live from our WAN-IFRA Frankfurt office with our webinar presenter, David Best.
Hello, I'm David Best from Kirchner Ruprecht. We are a German-based consultancy, and I'm glad to be here and to present you in this webinar.
Great, we're excited to have you, David. And just as a reminder for everyone that's new to our WAN-IFRA webinars, we actually encourage the questions portion of our webinar series. We use these as interactive learning seminars. So you'll find on your panel for your Citrix launcher, the panel that's labeled questions on the bottom left side. So after David does his presentation, then we'll launch into our Q&A session. So get your questions prepared for David at the end of his presentation. And then just wanted to guide you all after the webinar to our WAN-IFRA webinars page. Right now we have all of our recorded webinars from past presenters and speakers, and we'll actually feature this presentation, the recording of it, also on our WAN-IFRA webinars page. And we have for December 2015, our webinar will focus on the effects of ad blocking for publishers. So stay tuned for more details. They'll be featured on this page, and we're excited about that one. And then Kirschner and Robrecht, David here is the author of the white paper, Editorial Systems for Newspaper. And so he actually will be speaking on it later in the webinar, but to get access to the white paper, please contact him directly. We'll have his email featured. This webinar only highlights a small facet of editorial systems for newspapers. So we encourage the audience to get your own copy for an in-depth look at current offerings for editorial systems and content management systems for publishers. And there are both English and German versions of the white paper available.
Yeah, that's right.
And actually the idea of this webinar was a result of David and I's recent collaboration at our WAN-IFRA World Publishing Expo. Many of the registered participants for the webinar were actually present for our guided tours at Expo, so we're glad that you could rejoin us for our digital meeting. We visited 15 different editorial system providers at our expo in Hamburg, and we look forward to bringing it again to our World Publishing Expo next October in Vienna, Austria. And then now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce David Best formally. He will be our webinar presenter today. We're going to go over editorial systems key trends, system approaches and practical examples, as well as the selection process. And as David mentioned earlier, he is a consultant for Kirschner and Robrecht. They're a German-based consultancy for publishing and communications, specializing in the fields of strategy, organization, technology selection, implementation, and project management. And they have 20 years experience in the market, and we're glad that we can have David here imparting some of his knowledge on editorial systems.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nicole, for introducing me. So now we will move to the topics. I would like to start with key trends and developments, move on to system approaches and practical examples, and would like to finish with the selection process, ideal selection process as far as we are concerned, what we think about this. And I will give you some information about the white paper and our contact information, but you will get this afterwards, after the webinar as well. So let's start with the key trends and developments. So what do we see in the market? There are several important developments and trends that are relevant for editorial systems. Developments meaning those are developments taking place for many years actually. I would say there are four key developments. The first one is the multiplicity of publication channels and formats. And actually the same thing with data. The multiplicity of data, more and more data becomes relevant and has to be stored and accessed with the system. Then, of course, the search for new revenue streams for publishers, combined with a lot of cost and efficiency pressure in this market. And a bit more specialized or a bit more detailed, you can say there are 4 trends in the market, like analytics, automation, personalization, and social media. And I would like to start now with the key developments. So, first of all, the multiplicity of publication channels and formats. So that's a publishing trend, and we see that the number of terminal devices available and the platforms, they are increasing constantly. And of course, the CMS or an editorial system has to allow for a quick, flexible, and orchestrated publishing process across all those channels. That's a key success factor for the publishing companies and a key success factor for the system providers as well. So secondly, another important development in the publishing sector is the multiplicity of data. We see that there are multiple data available, both in-house and external data. The data is structured and unstructured. There are a lot of different sources, and the CMS must allow for an optimized content commercialization. And this could be done by proprietary solutions, APIs, or third-party integration. And CMS also have to look for really using this data for use cases like trend identification or automated and personalized content publication. So the second field is business developments, and yeah, the struggle to find new revenue streams is actually ongoing in the digital sector. And there's actually no one-for-all model that can guarantee success. Of course, we saw in the last 5 years many publishers introducing paid content concepts, paywalls, paid apps, and so on. Other digital business models are coming relevant to the market. What is clear is the constant need for new business models, and therefore a CMS has to be flexible in this way. Products have to be launched with a short time to market, and paid content concepts have to be realized easily with easy paywall integration and modification and paid apps. And the cost and efficiency pressure will be my fourth key development. Yes, the structural problems in the industry, they are causing high cost and efficiency pressures for the daily newspapers. So it's, of course, very important that the CMS empowers efficient content production. Starting right from the beginning of the content production process with planning, ending with a publication of printable pages and digital publications, possibly for many varying publications in one publishing house. I would like to show you some examples to underline those trends. The first one is social media site usage. You see on this graph that the number of accounts is now around 5.5 accounts per user, varying social media accounts, and nearly 3 accounts are used actively by those users. And what you clearly see is that the social and mobile traffic gains relevance or gain relevance. Of course, search engine optimization is very important for the publishers, but social media is now becoming even more traffic source for many publishers. And mobile is, of course, the key driver. You see this in the US market, and you see this in the German market as well. You really have to focus that the multiplicity of those publishing channels is getting even more importance in the future. And you can, another example would be the constant introduction of new formats by the big players in the internet market, as well as the new players in the social media messaging field. You see, like Apple News or Facebook Instant Articles and Snapchat. All those formats are entering the market, are gaining relevance, and as a media company, you have to think, how could I easily use those platforms? And it's often a kind of testing approach which you should apply. You should fast, with a short time to market, try those platforms and see if they are useful for you. And that's of course relevant to the system, to the editorial systems. They have to offer really good digital publishing models, both for multi-channel output and incorporation of social media content and a suitable API management. And you really have to think of course, unbundling the content. There's no fitted content for all platforms. You easily you really need to easily put out content pieces and publish them through those channels. So then, big data. Big data is often misunderstood as a buzzword, but it's actually really relevant. You can see this by looking at this pie chart. You see that 68% of all media companies in total realize or use big data strategies in 2015. So that's really relevant. And you see there are lots of use cases for big data, starting with audience analytics, data journalism, but also user segmentation or targeting. It's not only used in the publishing sector, it's used in other fields as well. For example, for cost reduction or marketing campaigns. So that's really important for publishers and system providers. And well, thinking of big data, I think it's good to make a short definition of the subject. It's, as I already told, it's more than a buzzword. It could be actually a specific big data technology could be used in some cases, and it's so something special. And fields of applications for data-driven approaches to editing are, in my point of view, the offer of data-driven products like big data analysis platforms for specialist topics, or to get insight out of the data, like data mining. The analysis of customer value via internal channels or social media, for instance, and of course publish data-driven content, like automated site edition for specific users based on the analysis of users and customer data. So there are three important fields just for the editing sector, and of course editorial systems have to think about those use cases or fields of application. They really need to offer a possibility to integrate varying data sources. They should process large amounts of data, and possibly they should think of using big data technologies themselves. And they have to think about the integration of suitable first-party or third-party solutions for analytics here and content creation and marketing as well. It is not necessary to do this by their own. They can use third-party solutions, of course, but they have to think about those subjects. Yeah, next slide. It's taken from the German market. And what we see in the German market is that new revenue streams and the diversification of the topics and the sold products is becoming more and more important. We see that nearly 2 of 3 of the publishers rate the strategic relevance of diversification high to very high. And nearly 40% of them plan projects in the sector in 2015. Yeah? So that's a questionnaire made by BDZV and Schickler in 2015, and it clearly shows the relevance of new revenue streams. And on the right-hand side, you see the expected share of total turnover by diversification in 2018 for small and large publishers or newspapers. And you see that the revenue contributed by diversification is expected to be really relevant. Nearly 70% of the largest publishers expect the share of the total turnover to be higher than 25%. So that's not lousy pennies. That's a real contribution to the business model done by new revenue streams. And then one thing, of course, paid content. On this slide, you see also an example of the German market, and you see that there are actually a lot of newspapers using paid content or paywalls on their side, and you see that the freemium model is currently the dominant model. However, metered paywalls are relevant, and there are some other models as well. So I think what is important to consider is that the paid content model should be flexible. Should the editorial system or the integrated third-party solution should offer many ways to monetize your content. Since there is no one-for-all solution for all time, you really have to stay flexible in this respect. Yeah, and well, this slide, I don't want to talk too much about it. I think you know the structural problems in the Western developed countries, which create a need for efficiency, of course. Yeah, and editorial systems have to fulfill all the requirements in regard to efficient editorial processing, starting with the planning. The content creation process should be effective but also transparent for all people incorporated in this process. The future-proof storage of content and assets is really important. You need the possibility to reuse, repackage all your assets you once created. And you can waste money if you produce the pictures more than once, which is not necessary in any way. So that's important, a good asset management. And of course, workflow efficiency is created by a good workflow management, which should be flexible. And the workflow there should be a possibility to cover workflows of various publications in case that you transfer many publications on one system. You need a flexible workflow management. And the same with user and write models. You need flexibility and scalability of pricing model. So those are the key drivers. And I would like to end with four more specific trends in the market. And the first one is analytics. Analytics is a key success factor for digital publishing, as well as efficient reporting. And you can think of course, third-party solutions. Most of the publishers use third-party solutions in this respect. However, more and more editorial systems are thinking about analytic solutions themselves, and they can of course offer benefits by incorporating data not only from the web, not only web analytics, but taking it from the production process, for instance, or from other data sources. The next key trend is automation. Automation is actually the key driver in all those so-called customer experience marketing suites, the digital suites, but as a system provider for editorial, you have to think about automation as well. You really have to take into account how to easily, like A/B testing or multivariate testing, test your content and simply put it out to your channels. And the next thing is personalization. Again, as editorial publishers, there's always a kind of one-to-many approach concerning communication. However, personalization is gaining importance. You need to show the users what is relevant for them, also in respect to news. And the last trend is social media. Okay, social media is a trend that's ongoing for 10 years, I think, but it's quite obvious that not all system providers cover this aspect with total 100% quality. It's always so take a close look at social media, how they are covering the incorporation of social media content as well as an easy multi-channel output. And you can gain a lot more of benefit in this sector. For instance, you can use social listening and try to identify trending topics. And so by doing this, you can find what's really, or identify what's really relevant for your audience, and can start, of course, this a kind of dialogue with your audience. So that's for the trends and the developments in the market. I would like now to move on to system approaches and practical examples. At Kirchner and Ruprecht, we thought about a good way to visualize editorial systems. In our point of view, it's quite good to make a kind of model of this world. Is of course not the reality, but it's good to think in this model way, because it's important to consider what you need and what you have. It's not so clear for everyone. And in this model, the core of the model, that's the data storage, that's the digital asset management, where all the data files like pictures, text, videos, and so on, and all the metadata, of course, is stored. That's a central data storage. And around that, that's what we call the IT management layer. That's the application and API management and the interfaces, which is also very important. You have to be flexible as far as API management is concerned, and you also have to think about the application management of the system provider. Around that, there's the support layer. Support meaning all the things that are supporting the publishing process. And that's like workflow management, the usage analysis, the rights and user management, and the product concept. And around that, you find it what we are calling the processing layer. That's like content and layout planning and editing. And the publishing layer, that's the last layer around, with print publishing and digital publishing. Some years ago, we talked about mobile publishing and social media and web publishing, but I think we cannot differentiate in this way. We have to really talk about digital publishing, since so many new channels are entering in this respect. And I would like to show you now some of those modules more detailed. First of all, an overall approach of 3 systems, then a bit more detailed, an example a practice example for DIM, digital asset management, then analytics management, and then digital publishing, since I think those 3 fields are quite well, new and innovative concerning many systems, and interesting for you. I now start with some case studies. I would like to mention that those are case studies only, no general system recommendations from us. In our point of view, system selection is always individual, but I think it's quite good to talk about some practice examples in this way. And this is taken out from our white paper. And I would like to start with Alpha Media. Probably some of you know this system provider. That's a German generalist provider of publishing software, and they are covering a broad range of solutions. And first of all, I would like to show you here on the left-hand side, you see which modules they are covering. Actually, they're covering all of those modules of our model. And they are doing this with their one-for-all solution called Alpha Media Suite. And they have an asset management called Alpha ECMS, which is based on Alfresco. That's an open source platform. And the pod solution is based on WAN-IFRA. That's another platform. So it's like a mixture of third-party and first-party approach. You can say it in this way, perhaps. And they have their own layout editors as well as their own content editors. And what they can offer is an Alpha data warehouse. They can, there's a report generator. And if you want to do deeper analysis, you really have to step into third-party solutions. And what is quite interesting is their Alpha Agenda. That's an editorial planning module. And you really can use this in the future. It should be extended with complete resource planning. And you can use this for idea and topic planning. And you can characterize Alpha Media as a generalistic editorial software provider. They are offering many different solutions for publishers, and that could be a benefit for you. Yeah, and the data is operated in Oracle and PostgreSQL database and so on. And it's available as a cloud and on-premises solution. So that's one approach. Another approach would be CCI Europe. CCI Europe, that's a Danish company, and they have a system called Newsgate. And this is bound on the WCMS solution of the bought-up solution eScenic. And they have customers on all continents, and they are especially widespread in the US. And they nearly all cover all those different modules, but they do not offer a DIM solution. They suggest to integrate a third-party solution for digital asset management. And they are known for their content and layout editors, which are proprietary developments. And it's possible to integrate InDesign. That's a common requirement concerning newspapers as well as magazines to integrate InDesign in any way. But I would say it's important to have a close look at InDesign integration. Is it really possible to update in InDesign and in the proprietary solutions, and then use both, or then use the file afterwards, or how is it done in reality? So have a close look at this if you are using Adobe InDesign as well. And CCI, they have various mobile tools for quick and decentralized editorial work. They have a kind of, or introduce a kind of live blogging tool, which I consider to be interesting. And I think it should enter the market here in autumn, so probably available by now. And they have a small fat client actually, but eScenic Content Studio is based on Java. So that's another solution approach. And now a third one, that's Google Median. Google Median is a kind of different approach. That's why I showed it to you. They are actually, concerning the German market, kind of first mover in the field of cloud-only based editorial systems. They are stemming from user-generated content. And I think 2006, they started with their Heimat Reporter. That's a user-generated newspaper, and then they build up their editorial system solution on that. So their main target group are actually local newspapers, At the moment, the system is preliminarily implemented in the field of the so-called bit6 splitter. That's the kind of mixed up of advertising and local papers in Austria and advertising papers, but they are trying to enter the market for local newspapers as well. They are actually covering all modules partly with simple solutions, for instance, in the field of planning or asset management, partly with more elaborated solutions, for instance, in the field of digital publishing and also analytics. As I already told, the solution is completely cloud-based. It is deployed in a public cloud environment, and the price model that's also not typical for the market is communicated transparently. And what's also kind of special for them is that they are only doing agile implementation with a toolkit approach. So that's a kind of a preset system with basic functionalities, and they try to figure out the use cases and then further develop what's needed for the publishers. So you see there are different approaches in the market, and I would say some of the players are focusing really on leading multi-channel publishing and output. You can see this. You can find other solutions and providers which are offering more, let's say, one for all or all-in-one solutions, which can offer solutions beyond editorial, especially for advertising or CRM for publishers. That's another characteristic. And there are players which are kind of different or kind of, well, let's say, not so costly like the others. The price is not so high, or they are implemented faster than the others. You can look. You have to make up your mind and think what you are needing in this way. And I would like to talk now about some modules of the system, and I would like to start with the asset management sector, with the digital asset management, or DAM, or sometimes also called MAM, media asset management. The DAM, that's the central element where all the data is stored and administered, and it's actually more than storing and administration. It's really searching, finding, displaying, and citing and combining of all your important assets. So that's really the core of the system, and it's relevant. It's the provision of the complete content for all your media productions. And well, some simple use cases are search for video material, and then to publicate this on a new news article, or perhaps search for raw video material and then prepare it and cut it again and then publicate it on your website. So, but there are many other use cases like searching for pictures and text, for instance. And I would like to show you one example from Content X. Content X, that's or actually DCX. That's an established DRM product, which is sold as a single product, as well as the core of the editorial system solution Content X. So you can get this, can only get the DRM module or the complete solution, and it's provided by PPI Media and Digital Collections. Both enterprises are partnering in this for this product. And let me, yes, it's not only an established product, it has some really elaborated features as well, as I think. You can see that it comprehends search engine, rights management, and collaboration features. And what is interesting is, I would like to point out this one, the additional functionalities. You can, there's a semantic approach and the self-learning and analytics functionality, which makes it much more easier to find the necessary content. And that is not the standard. Many system providers are using third-party solutions in this sector, but this is relevant. And you see they offer really much search functionalities. For instance, the search for synonyms, homonyms, phonetics, faceted search, stemming search. So that's you actually need a search pro for this, but for all those nouns. But those nouns are in practice important, yeah, to find your documents. Yeah. So that's for digital asset management. I would like now to move on to analytics management, this module. I already told you that analytics is of course established in publishing, in all publishing enterprises, mostly in the field of web analytics. However, the editorial system providers, they can offer a lot more. For instance, CRM, BI, or big data applications can be filled with production data, for instance. So some of them are using or offering only web analytics, others are offering more CRM analytics or production analytics, and others are combining all those fields. There are also providers that are offering, for instance, app analytics. So that's really a broad subject. Of course, there are different use cases in this way. You have you can analyze specific production parameters as well as analyze different referral sources stemming from websites or social media channels. So it really depends on your analytics module. And I would like to show you shortly two examples in this sector. The first one, that's from the Spanish Protec Media, the analytics management. They have a module for daily production controlling. So that's the production analysis part, like the working status or the number of produced articles. But beyond this, for instance, they have a tool for app content distribution, which is called MASS-Tool, Managed Audience Segmentation. And they are offering app analytics for native iOS and Android apps. So that's something completely different, which they are offering, but which could be interesting for publishers, since mobile is gaining importance, of course. And by using this module, you can send out push messages to readers, and that's quite elaborated solution. However, they do not offer or cover the field of web analytics. So you have to use your another third-party web analytics tool. And they have actually for administrators and support members a kind of aggregated log file reporting as well. Another approach would be Funkinform. That's a German-based system provider. And they offer a solution called Dialog. And Dialog is a solution, in-house solution or in-house developed management information solution, which is based on Microsoft Analysis Services, and that's more the, let's say, business intelligence approach. They can cover various operational figures and put them together, for instance, from the advertising sector, from the online marketing sector, or CRM activities. They have actually developed some key metrics for time, revenue, costs, and so on. However, the dashboard visualization should be done by Excel. So that's an interesting approach which could be easily offered by those system providers that are covering more than editorial solutions, but covering advertising solutions, marketing solutions, CRM solutions with one product. They can easily offer a kind of BI or business intelligence approach like Funkinform. And then let's move on to digital publishing. I do not want to talk too much about the modules. I just want to say that there are the web CMS module, which is part of our digital publishing world. There is app publishing for smartphones, tablets, and wearables, and there is a kind of e-paper publishing, which all is kind of digital publishing. And I would go on, move on with my practice examples. First of all, IDOS Media. IDOS Media offers a quite good and elaborated solution in this respect. They have a proprietary web CMS, but third-party systems can be integrated as well. They offer the possibility to run A/B testing, so you can test, for instance, different headlines and see which headlines are used more often. And they have a tool called Method Social, which allows for content publishing in various social networks. And it is possible to integrate postings from social networks into your own content and publications. That's a quite smooth solution. They have also the possibility to monitor and analyze social media topics and trending topics. And they are covering all kinds of app and e-publishing or e-paper publishing formats. You probably know them, like classic e-paper or multimedia enriched paper. They can offer digital magazines or responsive news apps and so on. And the creation process, of course, depends on the product type, but it's quite automated. The second example would be Interred. Interred, that's a German-based system provider, and they have a fully in-house developed web CMS, and they offer their solution in various modules, and two modules of them are called Interred Live Reporting and Interred Content Agents. And by combining those two modules, they have a kind of interesting use case implemented. They have a self-learning tool that can create a knowledge network based on semantic analysis. You can use your own content as well as third-party content for that. And then they can try to identify the relevant topics. And afterwards, they combine it with live reporting. They can identify the hotspots of usage in the website. So you can see what is trending and what is really used by the users on the website, and that's an interesting combination. And they can a landing page can be generated at the push of a button really quick. Additionally, A/B testing and multivariate testing is integrated right from the beginning. You do not have to make an own development in this respect. And so that's also interesting, since you need a kind of smooth process to really make efficient testing cases. And they offer app publishing as well for smartphone, tablet apps, and e-papers. So those are my examples. In my white paper, I described for more systems the approaches and for all the modules. Those are only excerpts of the white paper. And I would like to quit now with the selection process. I really want to shortly talk about this. As I've already told, in our point of view, every system selection is an individual case. There is no system for all publishers. You have to think what you are needing, and you have to make your own search process. And we are thinking that it's really important to provide a systematic approach. And we outlined like 10 steps for this successful selection. First of all, you have to start with your business and product strategy. You really have to think what products are you offering in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years. you have to make sure what is your IT strategy framework. Is it more cloud? Is it more on-premise? Do you prefer own in-house developed solutions or boss solutions, third-party solutions, whatever? You have to be clear about this point. You have to define the target processes and organization, meaning you have to think about the core processes of publishing before selecting the system. We do not suggest to pick up all the processes in detail and then try to find the system which covers all the current processes. That's also not a good approach. You should rather concentrate on the key processes and be open concerning the system, since it's often more expensive to align the system to your processes than otherwise. You have to derive your requirements, like creating a catalog with requirements. You can, of course, write down your use cases or use stories if you prefer an agile approach. But it's really important to define the requirements. That the process of definition is important, to incorporate all the in-house relevant divisions. And it's important to make sure that you told the system provider what you want from them. You have to be make an open-minded market screening. We always say that, like doing a long list and a short list, like a long list with, let's say, 10 providers, depending on your scope, and then concentrate on, let's say, 3 providers which are fitting the market best, or which are best fitting solutions for you. Then, of course, the performance system tender and the business case elaboration. You have to check all the numbers, and we are thinking that you have to think about the costs and profits for 3 to 5 years minimum. To make a good choice on the business case as well. Afterwards, there's the provider selection, of course, the contract design, and then the planning and setup of the implementation project. So, to sum it up, you have to do this systematically. That's quite important, and you do not have to take all the steps, but we think you have to consider all those points which I mentioned on this slide. Okay, we are looking
All right, so now we're coming to our questions portion of the webinar. Remember, if you have any questions for David Best, please submit them in your questions panel on the left-hand side of your screen, and I can feed the questions to David. Just type in, your pressing queries, and we'll get them answered. And then, David, just because we just recently talked about this 10-step selection process, you said it's not necessary for the publishers to go through the full process, but what are your recommendations as an expert on editorial systems, some of the key criteria for publishers, niche needs for digital and whatnot? Can you give us some key criterion for the selection?
Well, key criteria. I already mentioned the trends and most important developments. I think you have to think of the digital publishing sector. You have to think of the multi-channel processes and the workflow management. That is key for the future. And you should have a look at the analytics as well. I don't think that you need an elaborated analytics solution as a first-party solution of your editorial system, but you have to think of what they are offering. Some of them have good solutions in the sector, and which could be a good benefit for you. But multi-channel publishing processes, workflow management, digital publishing, that's, I think, the key fields of requirement which you need a close look at, of course. really, yeah.
Okay, and then we were talking about number 5, market screening. What do you think about the system players that are currently in the market? How is the competition among these global players?
I think the market is quite mature and the competition remains high. We saw this actually on Publishing Expo this year. It's not so easy for the system providers to gain new customers, of course, and many system providers are trying to enter the corporate publishing market. So that's interesting, I think, and by doing so, they will possibly offer in future more of the marketing and digital approach, which is common by those customer experience suites in the marketing sector, like what I already showed, the A/B testing, the automated and personalized content output. I think this will gain importance in this way. Yeah.
All right, and then when we were discussing agile project management, just wanted to ask how many current system providers are doing agile project management or prioritizing that for their development?
Well, in our white paper, we analyzed 10 leading system providers, and I think like 90% of them are using agile approaches, 90 or 80%. So I think agile is becoming important. However, in reality, many publishers are preferring the more classical waterfall approach. Let's say the complete agile process could be quite hard for the publishing houses. So I would prefer a kind of mixture concerning agile and waterfall approach in general, but it really depends on your in-house resources. Do you have a Scrum Master and the know-how for Scrum and agile approaches, or what do you need, and what's your culture, your internal culture? That's also important, and make up your mind about this. And yeah.
Okay, and then when we were talking about some of the key trends, social media is of course always a hot topic. It seems like every month that a new social media platform is developed, and my question is to you, how quick can publishers adapt to all these new social media platforms? I mean, how ready are they to react to them, and how does their editorial system tie into this adaptability?
Depends on the provider. There are some which are quite quick. Others need more than 1 year for a new release to cover the social media channel. So that's differing. It depends on the system provider, I think.
All right, and then yeah, we're talking always about launching new revenue streams, and you're saying yeah, the different ways that companies can offer to monetize your content. How do the editorial systems play into yeah, helping the paid content models, and what are your recommendations for new innovations with monetizing your content?
Well, actually, I think that many editorial system providers cover this paid content module quite well. They are offering either proprietary solutions or third-party solutions that fit this paid content market or paid content models. So I think they are that's quite good, and as far as paid content and paywalls are concerned, they are quite good. But perhaps you have to concentrate more on, let's say, app monetization.
Okay.
There are differences concerning the app publication processes and time to market of app publication. That's another paid content subject. So they are differing in this way.
Okay, and we have another audience question. Do you recommend in-house developed CMSs?
Okay, so that's a good question actually. You have to think about yourself. Are you a technical company or
Yeah, many people are doing
company?
this right now.
Yeah.
I've been reading more and
Of
more.
course, yeah. Many are doing in-house developed solutions. But you have to think, what are your qualities? What are your competencies? Are you more a technical player? You can use your in-house developed CMS, but this can lead, and we saw this in practice actually, this can lead to a never-ending project if you're trying to develop an in-house CMS by yourself. So, summing it up, in most cases I would recommend to look at what is on the market right now. If you already have an in-house solution which is which perfectly fits your needs, you can use this and you can further develop it. Could be a benefit, but actually, in most cases, market solutions are preferable.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions from the audience, what we can do is just open it up. I'll send a takeaways email to all of our participants and registrants, complete with David's information. So in the event that you have some thoughts come up, you can submit those to David and myself. And again, we'll have the recording of this webinar sent to you via email, as well as highlights from our webinar today. So yes, we're rounding up our hour with you all, and we thank you for your time, and we thank you for your participation, and we really hope that you learned some valuable information on editorial systems selection and trends today. And we are available for questions, like I said, and just stay tuned for more information from us. So thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Yeah, thank you from my side, and in case that you're interested in the white paper, just send me an email and I will send it to you. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.